welcome back to another episode of Microdosing with my mom. This is, I believe, our fourth time that we're going to be sharing an update on your microdosing journey, and we've got an extra special surprise announcement coming at the end because of the impact that microdosing has had on her life. But before we get to that surprise announcement, we all have to hear we're coming up on almost a year update since the very first time that you microdosed, and what are the shifts that have been happening in these last few months?
No, I love it. I mean, everybody's been following, obviously, since I started last May. We touched base, I think it was June when we did our first one. I've done 2 protocols. I did a retreat in late fall, went to Costa Rica in January, and then to now. Since December, I've been on more of a maintenance with microdosing versus doing the traditional, your actual protocols that you walk people through that are 8 to 12 weeks. And I'd say the biggest shift, if I had to really sit and go, okay, what's the biggest thing coming out of sitting here today, knowing this all started really last March when you kind of took your shift, was my need to control everything was a massive reason why I was struggling with anxiety. Because that's kind of why I went into this, was to manage some anxiety, manage some uncertainty, what I was going to do with my future, career-wise, where was I going to go, handling being in a new location that is a winter wonderland today. And I'm able to sit here 10 months in and say, I don't have anxiety anymore. I really feel like I'm getting really close to kind of where I'm going to go from just how I want to spend my next 10 years kind of working, what interests me. There's some clarity on that, but the biggest shift was I don't need to control everything. My word for this year is surrender, and I need to learn that I can't micromanage and control everything to perfectionism. Was a big one for me to realize. I mean, I'm always going to be a controlling personality, but realizing that when things don't go the way I want, I can sit in that moment and truly surrender to, okay, well, what's the direction I need to go? Which I would have felt I always did, just because being a believer, I've always like, well, this is God's plan. But saying it and living it are 2 very, very different things. So
and fully feeling that. Like that's an important call out. I think that a lot of people can resonate with. Now, you've also mentioned, when we were kind of recapping what are the big shifts that have happened, is a huge dynamic shift with your mom, my Grammy. Where this time a year ago, there was some, I don't remember.
Friction. There was definitely, she would say the same, there was definitely some friction, mainly because of the work I was doing in here and wanting to like set some boundaries. And I one time shared something with her that I thought would be taken as like a super positive, and I was apologizing for some stuff that I needed to own, and it hurt her, which then caused some friction. She then went home and worked with Allie and started microdosing.
She also, my Grammy started
microdosing.
Yeah.
And we really have been able to repair how we communicate. And we just this last month had to go through an extremely emotional situation for my mom, where she was having to put her mother into an assisted living home and her sister at the same time. And I was able to fly in and really see things through her lens. And that's a shift that I think I've done in all my relationships. I'm able to look at it and go, well, how are they looking at that? And not always looking at it through how I'm seeing it. And it feels very physical. Like it's almost like your mind is showing you what they're seeing. And it's happened enough times that now I don't question that. I know that's what's happening in that moment. And I was able to really be what she needed when we were moving them in Denver, emotionally be there, hug her when she needed a hug, not be annoyed if she was crying, which sometimes I can sometimes read that wrong. And it was really positive, and we could not have done it had we not been going through your program this last year. I know that.
Wow. I mean, that's incredible to see that, on top of, if you've watched the last 3 episodes with her, the transformations that have already unfolded. There's one more shift that I think is so powerful to call out. Is, I know a big part of your journey and your word with surrender is going into what's next for you work-wise. You kind of, midway through your microdosing journey this last year, you decided to take a break, on some level, take a breather, and
went really part-time with my current job.
Very part-time, in creating this space to explore what you really want to do next. And what's so funny is just an hour ago we were sitting there and you're like, oh my gosh, I just made like $700 from this new work venture. And we don't need to talk about what that is yet, but it's pretty cool. And you had a huge interview this last Tuesday where you're just fully surrendering, and now these work opportunities are coming to you. In a time where so many people are losing their jobs, you're showing that it's still possible to have these opportunities for abundance to come your way.
I love how you I hadn't even really connected all those dots even myself. Yeah, I mean, I think that is what's and I think it's, all I've wanted was just be open to opportunities, don't jump at the first one, and trust that what I'm supposed to be doing, I'll feel like this is the right thing. And that's been, even a little bit of help that I've been able to kind of step into, which I know we're going to share as well. I'm loving being within this community. I knew that was something that was really making my heart happy. It was a way to be able to give back. And then the other financial ones that are potentially, may end up being something as well. So yeah, it is kind of crazy to think that I spent the last 6 months not letting myself work more than my part-time piece that I was doing and not bring anything else new in. I said I really wanted to wait till the new year. And things are definitely kind of starting to come together.
Yeah. Oh, and that definitely does segue us into the surprise announcement and how you've taken another step in deepening your involvement in our microdosing community. And actually, I don't even know how long it's been before the new year, probably since November, December.
November.
I asked you to come on as a support coach to help me in supporting our community of microdosers. You may, you've been microdosing for 10 months, but you know that this journey is so much more than just microdosing. And you've been helping women specifically transform their lives for decades.
Yeah, it's true.
Like I was, when I was a little kid, and I didn't find this out until I was older, but when I was little, I didn't realize you were on stage speaking to thousands of women, teaching them and helping them ignite their own inspiration so they could achieve financial freedom, that they could achieve freedom in all areas of their life. And so it's been really cool to see you bring your incredible gifts in helping people light their own fire and bring that into their lives. And feel free to just highlight, a little more. I know you just touched on it, but your role in our community.
It was a natural fit because I know how passionate you are. I know what matters to you within the container because we're talking all the time anyway as your mother. Mm-hmm. And having gone through the protocol, we were just kind of talking on, now that I've done it, what are some areas that you could get some help with that isn't you? Because in the end, people are wanting to come into this container to work with you. And so it wasn't about doing what you're doing. It was seeing that you were from 8 to 5 on the phone, talking, literally changing lives. And I thought, what can I do to kind of help support that? And we realized I could check in with people along the line when they're not doing calls with you on, are you having any trouble with understanding the homework? Just kind of helping them process through a little bit more of some stuff that they've had on a call with you, or even at the back end of it, to be, okay, what was the experience like? What could you do? What could have been done differently? What impacted you the most? And one of my favorite questions I always ask is, if, what's one word to describe your journey, what would it be? And the most recent one, she said, life-changing. And I just sat there and I'm like, oh, well, could you expect anything? I'd be like, wow, okay, it wasn't peace, it wasn't less anxiety, it was just, it's changed my life. And I've heard that time and time again with every client of yours that I have kind of done a closing call with. So it's been a really nice fit to be able to kind of come in and just give you additional support in case somebody is struggling and they hadn't mentioned it to you. I could maybe pick up on it on just a simple Tuesday call where I was checking in and saying, hey, are you listening, able to catch the guest speaker tonight? So it's more of an admin thing, but at the same token, just letting people know that they're being seen and being heard, and making sure they're getting, truly the value out of the program.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, when we say that word support coach, it's more so than supporting me. You're really coming in and supporting the community and understanding we are growing so quickly and helping and so many people that, yeah, you saw actually one of the last times you was in October, you were up in Sun Valley. You're like, you need more help with this, keeping up with this. And it's been absolutely life-changing having her be a part of this journey. And it truly is only the beginning. So what's so exciting is those of you who have been following along or you're seeing this for the first time, you're very much not just getting me, but you're getting us together as a team. And we're showing this medicine and teaching people how to use it in a way together. And that's been really cool. It's been really special. I will say, as a daughter, being able to have my mother as kind of my partner in crime, it's been incredible. And so I know it's just the beginning. I'm so excited to see where we take it. And yeah, do you have any last words that you want to share with where we're at and where we're going?
I think it is exciting because the reason why, I know with Cheyenne's playing a much bigger role on the backside. You've got some other people that help with some other admin stuff and other support roles as well. And you are cultivating this team. And I think that's one of the things that's been fun for me is to be a part of a team and to know that in the end we're here holding you up so you can continue to hold others up. Because I think that was the biggest thing is you were doing a lot on your own and you needed a team. And it's kind of exciting to be able to be a part of it and to look back and, after this year's retreats that are being put on. It's just amazing to come back next year this time and to really be able to see, how many more lives you've touched will be pretty amazing.
Yeah. And she did just drop a little bit right there, the retreats. We are, for anyone that walks through the mentorship with us, is getting access to an in-person experience where myself, my mom, our in-house spiritual counselor, my wife Cheyenne, who's also on our team, we're all going to be holding space and facilitating a deeper experience in person. So if you're someone that's really wanting not only to microdose and to take your first steps in working with this medicine, but really also trying to harness that power of community, this is your place to be. So, all right. Well, Mom, as always, it's such a pleasure.
So good.
Such a treat. And until next time.
Thanks, everyone.